Well, it's midweek and it's time we discuss all matters Sporting Press Irish Oaks. I'm once again joined by Declan O'Donoghue, the Sporting Press's man on the ground at Shelbourne Park. Declan, it's been a cracking Oaks thus far, and by all accounts, it's going to get better. It really jumped into high gear in the second round. Brilliant performances from start to finish.
Yeah, it certainly moved up a bit a gear last week, definitely. The same 4 or 5, I still seem to have an edge over the rest, but there's 4 or 5 in behind that could keep improving. They will need to keep improving, but that does happen throughout competitions. Just looking at the Boyd Sports betting at the moment for it, I don't know what you think about it. 9-4, Droopies, Curio, fair enough. 5, Ballymacbeanie, 6, Swanley Chick. Would look reasonable value at this stage,
Yeah, and she of all the big three, she probably has the best draw the next night as well, which is something to keep into account.
She does, and she's not worried where she's drawn as she goes through it, and she's a tough nut, and she's definitely looks good there. Of the value ones, perhaps Grangeview West 12-1 is interesting.
She came forward again, Declan. Once again, she stepped forward that length or two, and if she does that one more time, even she's going to be there, bang around the 28-second mark, which in an Oaks final could certainly be enough if she's in front.
Exactly, and she has experience on her side, and she has freshness on her side. So she's a lot. I think 12-1 her now is decent. Scooby's Princess, I must be honest, I'd rather her as a wide seed rather than a middle.
I tend to agree with you. She's doing all her running outside, yeah.
But 14-1, she has the gears to keep qualifying. Whatever way her heat goes, she will keep storming through. And she showed she's early pace, and 5-5 is suits her as well. You know what I mean? So I think 14-1 her is pretty long. And the most interesting one is Fabulous Belle at 16-1. She is a white seed. So I know there's new rules coming in today. We won't even cite the racing managers have got some headaches coming up.
That's for another day, Declan. That's definitely for another day.
Don't go there. But old system or new system, she will keep getting trap 6, the way it looks. So, she's a tough enough heat now. But if she gets through, she is one of the ones that are improving and that have potential to go. But Droopies Curio, a worthy favourite, certainly. Yeah.
It's worth pointing out, just speaking of Fabulous Belle, like she went up so hard the last 2 nights. Like she led Ballymacbeanie comfortably enough into the corner. Of course, she stays middle of the track, and Ballymacbeanie goes round up the inside and takes over. And the rest, as they say, is history. We'll take a look back, I think, at the second round heats, and then we'll focus on the draw for the next round in a few moments. We're going to kick off Ballymac Art and Ballymac Juliet. We may as well pair them. 2 very different displays from the Liam Dowling pair. Ballymac Art showing great early speed to get the better of Ravenswood Mango into the corner, which is no easy feat. She went on to win by 2.5 lengths. She just seems to be getting better every night, Declan. You touched on it last week that she had run against the dogs in the juvenile derby. That's certainly standing to her, and she's a bitch that we should be keeping an eye on because she is taking those steps forward.
Absolutely, and to beat Ravenswood Mango around Shelbourne at the moment, you've got to be on your toes to do that. It did look a match between them. We agreed on that. We can't bet at Shelbourne at the moment, but I saw the forecast paid 16-1, which was incredible.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity, Declan.
There you go. They are drawn together again, which is interesting.
And the same similar boxes like Ravenswood Mango again on the inside of Ballymac Art.
Yeah. But there's no question on the night Ballymac was better. Yeah, she was in front. She stayed there. Ravenswood gave her usual decent run, which she will again, which she always does. But it was a good performance by the winner, certainly.
The second heat, we saw another good early pace performance by Mohane Rosa. And again, she was collared late, this time by Ballymac Juliet, who did some running late. She's clearly one that'll stay further in time. Prices Verona also joined them. Just mentioned there in the first heat, Slippery Diva, very unlucky not to qualify. And in the second heat, which we're speaking about, Clear Mountain also very unlucky. She wasn't a great pitch at the third bend before to check up. Just those 2 pitches from Trap 1 in heats 1 and 2 just lost their chance at that third bend. But Ballymac Juliet, a good winner, Mohane Rosa and Prices Verona. 3 talented ladies with 3 different racing styles.
Absolutely. Now, Ballymac Juliet was last at halfway last week. Now, as you go forward in the Oaks, that's not a...
No, it's not the place to be.
You want that. But she won well. It was a tough heat, and there's a good few stairs in it, especially Prices Verona. So, I mean, Clear Mountain would have stayed on too, as you said, didn't get to look at the race. Definitely, she was unlucky. But take nothing from the winner. Very good performance with Ballymac Juliet, but she'd need to be a bit sharper early on.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the real Oaks contenders in the next heat, and you've spoken about her already. But Swanley Chick, she like she's a lady that had plenty of racing before she went to England. I know she had one or two big runs, especially the track record at Dundalk, but it just seems that now is her time. She's really coming into the peak of her powers. 28:10, like this was a serious display. Like she left Miss Joss 2.5 lengths behind her and Beaushine Bullet another half length away. It was a cracking little contest, but Swanley Chick was just simply too good for them.
She ticks all the boxes now. If you look at it, I mean, track record in Dundalk. How many great dogs gone around to Dundalk 5-5 down the years? You know what I mean? That of itself is a remarkable achievement. She went very well in the English Derby, and the English Derby more so even than her own is tough for bitches, but she certainly more than held her own there, you know. And she came straight back to the Oaks and just carried on regardless.
Yeah, so she hit the ground running once she came back.
Very impressive last week. Very early zip, which is always a big help as you go forward in these competitions. As we said, can be drawn anywhere. Beaushine Bullet actually just beat her to the break. She didn't have the early zip to go with her, which that's not her style in fairness. But it was an interesting that she came away so well. Miss Joss ran a very solid race in second. Very solid race. Again, I'd rather her as a wide seed in the middle, personally, you know. And we saw in the Derby final how important correct seeding can be, you know. First and second to put them in different seats, and we could have different Derby result in the final. You know what I mean?
Question,
that's the
no
Derby. So anyway, Swanley Chick very good so far. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Of the three of them, like Miss Joss is very talented and she could certainly get to an Oaks final, but Swanley Chick just seems to have that bit more, you know, about her.
Yeah, and Swanley Chick has raced 23 times. Miss Joss has only raced 7 times.
Yeah.
Coming in the latter rounds, those things do tend to kick in. But no, Miss Joss, nothing wrong so far, for sure.
No, experience counts for plenty. The next heat, if I told you Droopy's Curio was going to hit the front on the opening corner and do 28.05, you'd expected her to be the standard setter. As it was, Ballymacbeanie went faster than her, but Droopy's Curio, once again, very impressive. She really is she's like a high-powered sports car down the back straight. Once she gets to the front, she's just fluent. She cruises on. I wish she was trapping a bit better, but at the same time, if she's on the fence, she's okay. Next night, she's not on the fence, but there's no question she's an absolute aeroplane, this one. If she does happen to get the gaps at the right times through this year's Oaks, she probably still is the one to beat.
Yeah, I think if now she can hit the lid. It's not that she always misses it, and sometimes she just barely misses it. You know what I mean? But we saw in the first round, she can give them a lead as well. But if she was breaking, and of course, if's a big word, but if she was breaking consistently, she'd probably be the best dog in the country to own. Yeah. I mean, that is how good she is. You know what I mean? And
Declan, she's only 60 pounds, but she ran the opening bend like a dog. Like she just went, no, get out of my way.
Yeah, very much.
Threw herself around, and it was like, listen, I'm just going to take control of this, have it in hand by halfway, and I'll coast home.
Yeah,
it was pretty impressive.
I agree with you. That's one thing herself and Swanley Chick have. They run like dogs. They really have that about them. You know what I mean? And they're powerful racers. And she has done everything right so far. As you say, you know, we saw in Waterford when she missed the break at the end. That was costly. You know what I mean? So she'd want to be breaking well. I thought last week was reasonable from her. Last week was reasonable, but by God, she has gears then to really move from there. You know?
Yeah, she made up a couple of lengths, like between the second winning line and the corner, because against the really sharp ones, she won't have that opportunity. She'll have to do her running from behind. That's why it's just that we want to get her racing quicker. As you say yourself, she can trap. It's just that first stride or two. She just needs the acceleration to hit straight away. And Nemesis and Right So Bell ran reasonably well in second and third. I think both can go faster. You would highlighted Right So Bell as one to keep an eye on. And she did show pace and defeat in this occasion. But as we saw at the opening corner, Droopy's Curio sort of just gave them all a shunt. And it was a case of whichever was going to qualify after that.
Well, absolutely, and I mean, Penny's kind of flew out of the tree. I mean, she really bombed it, you know, and yet Droopy's was doing by the third bend 1598. No, I mean, that's
I think that shows exactly what she's doing down the back straight, because she's probably 3 lengths faster than anything else down the back.
She is, yeah. I mean, you can see why she's favoured. You can absolutely see why she's favoured. But again, as we keep saying, you know, anytime you're liable to miss a break in a competition, you could be in trouble.
Of course you can. Heat 5, I thought there were 2 wonderful performances in this by both the winner and the runner-up. The winner, of course, thoroughly professional, flying starter, made every inch of the running. She's another one of the Ravenswood breed. In fact, I just copped it now that her half-sister was second, Rowanna Best. Rowanna Best did remarkable racing in this, Declan, because she looked for all the world to be out at sea at the second mile. We know she's very strong, but we've never seen her come from that far behind. She's generally up at the pace, but Old Love Tune, firstly, very professional. She rocketed from boxes, did everything right out front. And Rowanna Best, a massive run in second also.
Absolutely. Old Love Tune is coming right at the perfect time for this. I mean, she did a 2:00 sectional, and she popped out at 4 there, and away she went. And top trainer in Fraser Black. She's a lot going for her, certainly. And she keeps doing the way she's doing, then she is right in the mix for outright success here. Ron, but that was interesting. I agree with you. Completely missed the start. Had serious work to do against good greyhounds and did it. So even though she was beaten, she actually goes up in the ratings a bit, I think, for that performance.
Yeah, if she had made one of her better starts, considering she's doing 28.52, coming from, what was she, 8 back at one point?
Yeah.
It suggests there's a 28, certainly close to 28 seconds in her.
Absolutely, and she's still a novice. That was her 11th race. You know what I mean? So
and Peter, of course, Peter Crone has only had her for perhaps 2 or 3 of them. So she's entitled to improve, as you say.
She is, yeah. And Cornerhouse Lady ran well from 6 again, which we'll come to later. Cornerhouse Lady can run from any box.
Yeah. I could be wrong here. I have a feeling she may have literal pups in the ground. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll tell you one thing: she's running with credit. She was a Lee Strand winner, of course, last year.
That's right.
She's one that could just again sneak through the next round. You never know.
And she's consistent.
Yeah,
she's consistent, so that helps you. Yeah, for
The
sure.
next heat features some useful types, but it was good to see Slieve League, one of the star bitches of 2019, returning to something like her best here, 28.29. She was led for much of the way by Grange Nifty, who did show fine early speed. Ballymac Wisdom coming home very strongly for third. Blue Jig Luck also finishing well, but I'm afraid just losing out the qualifying spot. But Slieve League, a good return to form for her. I'm delighted for Gavin Johns and Carol Ramsbottom, because I know they think the world of this lady.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those strange heats where it was all about the tree on the inside. The other tree never got a look in. Blue Jig Luck, as I said, Shelbourne doesn't seem to be her track for whatever reason, And interesting, Ballymac Wisdom could have got the bend. Ballymac Wisdom was looking to cut inside the other two who were in front of her.
Yeah.
Grangeview went very well. Grangeview ran a cracker, But you knew Slieve League, if she got it on the fence, and she was patient enough, she knew she was kind of going to get there. And she got there, and then she let it to her bend and took over. But Ballymac Wisdom, it was an interesting performance. She could just have slipped the two of them at the corner, in which case she would have won definitely, because she stays forever. But Slieve League, yeah, buckets of experience, knows her way around Shelbourne. If she keeps getting near the inside, yeah, for sure. But I don't want to take out that I thought was Grangeview Nifty. Relatively inexperienced, and good show, good performance.
Yeah. Ballymac Wisdom, she really is a versatile performer. You could see her stepping back up and trip in time. On to Heat 7, and this was again a further confirmation that Ballymac Beanie is a serious lady, a half sister to Pastana, and again many of the same qualities. She drove for the inside. She ran like a cat on the rails, took it up, showed great determination, pace, and power. She's doing 28.02. It was a stunning run from a lady that clearly has a massive, massive future. Fabulous Belle, showing brilliant early speed. She does 28.23 in defeat, a massive run. And Billy's Diva, and nothing else really landed a blow outside the top two, but Billy's Diva was to emerge from the pack, beating the likes of Battle Cry and Breton Avril. It looked a red-hot contest, but as it was, the early speedsters just got away in them, and the rest really struggled to land a blow. Billy's Diva, as I've said, grabbing third spot. But Ballymac Beanie is the one to take out of it.
Yeah, to be fair, it was tough for all the others, including Battle Cry, because 1 and 6 had their ideal draw, and they were both very, very sharp on the night. Fabulous Belle is very interesting. As I said, she just keeps improving. She showed real early zip there. Ballymac Beanie, the slight worry you'd have is there an obsession with the inside with her? Could that somewhere come into it? But look, she's doing everything right so far. You know what I mean? And that 28.02 from behind is a fair run. You know what I mean? And against a very good dog. Billy's Diva is lovely. I mean, she's only had, 6 races now? 5-6 races?
Yeah.
And to be running like that, and she stays, so she has a lot going forward. You couldn't see her winning this Oaks or anything, but my God, she is some prospect.
You're gonna have some sport with her because they can step her up the trip. Like you can see her doing massive runs over 600 yards in time.
Well, they can do it straight away, which is a trend nowadays, and the correct trend. I think if they need a trip, give them a trip, because they can get sour very quickly. Getting beaten or getting done at the bend every night. So
I know we touched on it last week, but just if they're watching, how about trying battle cry over 6 bends?
Well, surely this is our last race last week. It must be. Well, even as you say, 5, 7, 5, 600.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over those, I wouldn't have been taking around over those kind of trips around
just to mention, their Fabulous Belle, of course, is owned by David Firminger, and they did the Hollands did stay with them.
That's a lovely story.
The Firmingers in England when they were challenging English Derby. They went so close with Ballydoyle Valor, and it'd be a great way to repay them. You know what I mean? It'd be a great way to repay them.
It'd be fairy tale stuff, but as we know in greyhound racing, those things happen.
Yeah, they can certainly happen. We're moving on to the final heat, and a bitch that we both think the world of, Scooby Princess, was too strong in the end. She definitely is favouring the outside more so than ever in her past, as far as I'm concerned. She keeps swinging off that last bend, but she's showing massive pace, power, and determination. And we've already touched on it. A much better again effort by Grangeview West. She'll continue to improve. And Boyle Sports Joy, she missed quite a lot of time, but she's as gallant as you like. She gets to that fence. She runs strong throughout. But no, this was about Scooby Princess and Grangeview West, two ladies that could certainly play a part in this, Oaks.
Absolutely, yeah. And Scooby Princess, as you say, Shelbourne, you can get away with that wide running in Shelbourne. You really can. It almost suits them because they can keep out of trouble out there. They are take the longer way around for sure, but I mean they can avoid a lot of shunting and pushing as well. You know what I mean?
She also has the gear to get through gaps when she needs to. She
she is, and she's plenty of experience now. That was a 26th race, so she has an awful lot going for it. She doesn't break with it, but then you could say the same about Truby's Curio. She doesn't always fly out, but they're in the mix from early enough. You know what I mean? And she'd take them from behind. She'd go the outside, the inside, wherever she used to go, she'd go. But she does favour the outside. Shelbourne suits that big time, and she's a big chance going forward for sure. I think she is. We're just saying she's 14-1. Which you'd have to say a bit of each way value in that, you know what I mean? Certainly,
top four. Like if she got to the final, it'd be very hard to keep her out of top four because you'd imagine in the final there'd be 4 early pacers that will be depending on get to the front.
Yeah,
and if they don't get to the front, it's going to be the likes of a Scooby Princess or something else with a big finish. Like even if a Ballymac Wisdom or something got to the final, there might be faster bitches in it. But
absolutely, and
they can well finish in front of them given the conditions.
But Grangeview West must be mentioned as well because she has a serious CV and she's very, very fresh coming into this, and she is going extremely well. And Pat Guilfoyle knows all about what it takes to win these big competitions.
Absolutely, he does. We're going to be talking about her in a moment because she is part of the final heat, which itself would be fitting of a final. But we'll quickly go through the heats, Declan. The opening heat, cracking little contest. Price of Verona probably has the best of the draw. Boyle Sports Joy, Droopy's Curio, both diving for the fence. Scooby Princess, brilliant draw also in trap 5. Right So Bell on the outside, Corner House Lady in trap 2. But I dare say a lot depends on what Droopy's Curio does in the opening yards. The fact that Boyle Sports Joy is in 3 will help her because she will dive in too. She may just clear a passage for her. I think we'll all be tipping Droopy's Curio to win. But Scooby Princess and Price of Verona, certainly 2 to keep in mind.
Well, you've got the favourite Paul Hennessy. The 3 drawn together, not just in the one heat,
I know,
alongside each other. Let's take those 3 one by one. Price of Verona, she does like the inside. But I'd say if Paul had his way, he'd have Boyle Sports in 1 and Price of Verona in 3 because she'll get on the fence in her own time. But Boyle Sports needs it badly. Boyle Sports could be in trouble there. You know what I mean? Corner House Lady, any box, doesn't matter. She is very, very good. And there's a good chance for qualifying. But this is one heat, as you say. Droopy's Curio in 4. Yeah, Boyle Sports in 3 will help her. Boyle Sports in 3 will shift in, definitely. Curio's in 4. Scooby mightn't break brilliantly, but will be going up to the bend, I would think, with them. That is some race. I think you'd have to say Droopy's Curio will go through, Scooby Princess will go through, and one of Paul's. That's the way it looks at the minute.
Yeah. Well, if that was to happen, that'd be a strong trio going through. The second heat, well, they could have run this over two bends. There's so much early speed in the second heat, Declan. It's actually frightening. Grangeview nifty in the inside. Ravenswood Mango in 4. Ballymac Art in 5. Miss Joss in 6. They'll all go up very fast. Rowana Best, as we said, can go up much better than she did last week. And Billy's Diva will be sitting in behind them and hoping to pounce late. A cracking contest. It's all about which gets around the corner and then which gets the run after them. I thought Rowana Best ran a big race last week and I give her a big chance, but I'm not sure where she's going to take it up or where she's going to be around the opening two bends. Ballymac Art on last week's form is probably the most likely leader.
I would think so, and I would say the most likely winner. Because she is going to be hard to put. Now, Rowana Best really has to break well this week. There isn't much margin for error in this one. Grangeview Nifty will come away well in 1. Billy Stephen won't break in 3. Ravenswood will go up with them. Certainly she will. She looks one that will qualify one way or the other. She'll find a way to qualify, And Miss Joss, of course, is terribly drawn in 6. It could suit Miss Joss if Ballymac Art goes away quickly, actually. Because she
will edge across if she gets the opportunity.
She will, yeah. So you could make a case for them all in this one, But I think Ballymac Art, must get there. Ravens will probably qualify. So there's one spot left, and that's you would think between Rowana Best and Miss Joss, but you couldn't rule any of them out, really.
No, it's a really terrific heat. And that's what you like to see at this stage in the Oaks. Just goes to show how competitive it actually is.
Sure,
there's a lot of fast ladies. There's nothing in this Oaks that you can actually say that has no chance of qualifying, that doesn't have a right to be there. They're all very talented. Heat 3. Again, different racing styles here. Swanley Chick, I have no doubt, will be a hot favourite. Obviously she has Ballymac Juliet and Highview Mission either side. She should lead them. Old Love Tune will go up fast in the middle. As you say, she is really coming to hand, but she won't edge outwards. So Swanley Chick should get a clear run at her. And then Sleeve League and Bowshine Bullet up the inside. Well, they're both capable of doing a 28-20 run. It's just a case of whether they're going to have to be doing it behind Swanley Chick. I think Swanley Chick is going to take some stopping, but it's a bit of an intriguing contest in behind her.
It is. Bowshine Bullet for her broke well last week. So Sleeve League mightn't get straight onto the fence, but she can get onto the fence behind her, which is suited just as good. You know what I mean? So Old Love Tune, well, she's doing everything right so far. If Old Love Tune runs like she ran last week, then she's a serious player here, which she'll probably need to make sure of qualifying. Ballymac Juliet, brilliant last week, but she really can't be lasted halfway in this heat.
No chance. Like, what chance does she have of coming from behind the likes of a Bowshine Bullet or even something like a Sleeve League, who we know races right to the line?
Absolutely, and
Swanley Chick obviously will get 500, 600 yards as well.
She won't be coming back to them. You know what I mean? So it's tough on Highview Mission in 6. Very promising start, but is really up against it here. You know what I mean? Swanley Chick should go through. Looking at the draw, Sleeve League, and if Old Love Tune comes out, she'll be very much in it too. Old Love Tune, if she breaks like last week, could you could see her still in front of the third bend. Old Love Tune. Swanley Chick are probably just a bit too strong for her. Absolutely,
Another great heat, and then we finish off with the heat we've mentioned earlier on, a red hot heat again. Obviously Ballymac Beanie is the one that will. Had there been betting on it, would probably have started favourite, but I dare say Grangeview West might have come in for some shrewd money. She's on the right side of Ballymac Beanie if she hits the lids. Mohane Rosa will go up fast in 4. Fabulous Belle will certainly go up strongly on the outside in trap 6. It's going to be a real tussle to the opening corner. And meanwhile, Ballymac Wisdom will be stalking them in behind, and I'd be surprised if she didn't qualify.
Yeah, but you see, now Mohane Rosa, we don't know quite what she'll do early. But you would look at it and say 2, 3, 6 will be the 3 going to the bend. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really, unless they get in each other's way too much, they'll probably stay that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the 3 of them are serious hounds. Grangeview West, like we know what she can do. Ballymac Beanie is doing it every week for us now. And Fabulous Belle, is improving all the time and is perfectly drawn. And as you said, actually let out last week. So, you know what I mean? So, I think those 3 will have it between them all the way.
Yeah. All I know is, Declan, that if 3 of the top 4 or 5 in each of the heats qualify, we are looking at a red hot final 12. It is just simmering lovely. And I think it's going to come to a boil sooner rather than later. I don't think we'll have to go wait till the final now to see fireworks, because there will be fireworks on Saturday night, and whatever about Saturday, there'll certainly be fireworks the following week. This really is a cracking Oaks.
Well, there was certainly plenty of fireworks last Saturday with the Halloween background.
Yeah.
I think for sure. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't pick a winner at this stage. You could, as we said, there's 3 or 4 at the top of the betting. 3 or 4 more midway through the betting have real chances. Scooby Princess definitely, should keep qualifying, and that is what it's about at this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I warn you now, Declan. I warn you now. I won't do it to you this week, right? But I'll definitely do it to you next week. I'm going to ask you to name your 6 finalists, and I can promise you one thing: that's not going to be easy.
No, not at all. But that's where it should be. That's where we want. That's why it's such a brilliant dog. As you said, everyone left in it going into Saturday night. You couldn't rule them out for outright glory. They all have something going for them. Some of them are still improving. Some of them are young. Some of them equally have the edge of experience. You know what I mean? Some are dependent on the draw, but that's where Fabulous Belle has the edge, because she's going to keep getting her draw.
She certainly is. She'll be out trap 6, and by all accounts, she's probably the fastest of the 24 of them to the opening bend. It's just because she's staying out the middle, she mightn't lead at the second bend every night. But yeah,
that is correct.
Thereabouts. Declan, it's a great Oaks. I'm really looking forward to Saturday night. It's just an awful shame that there's nobody on track to see it, because these ladies would really thrive in it.
Yeah, for sure it is. We're missing so many familiar friends and faces. Just looking down even the other night at all the bookies boards lying on the ground.
I know, yeah. I never thought I'd look at empty bookies boards on the ground with such melancholy.
But please God, they will be back soon. But it is great that the sport is going ahead. I've met a lot of people who can't be there, but they are very determined that it does go ahead, and they're following it avidly in every way they can. Barking Buzz everywhere else that they can see it. It's a fantastic Oaks, and okay, next week won't be easy to pick the 6 finalists. I have to agree with you.
Declan, we look forward to reading your copy in the Sporting Press Irish Oaks. There'll be an awful lot of Oaks copy, I dare say, next week, because they certainly deserve it. And this week, of course, pick up your copy before Saturday night's action and get all of Declan's thorough thoughts on paper. Declan, thanks very much indeed. We'll speak to you next week. Okay. That's it, folks, for another Talking Oaks, I'm going to call it. Saturday night promises to be a great night's racing at Shelbourne Park. Make sure you tune in to Barking Buzz, or catch up the following morning. And once again, keep up to date with all the action of the Sporting Press and Talking Dogs. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.